Good morning, everybody. My name is Jonathan Wylie from Grantwood in Cedar Rapids, and this is my partner in crime this morning, Mindy Cairney.
Hi.
We thought we'd put together a session today that kind of sums up a lot of the recent changes and things that have gone on in the tech world, things that happened over the summer or things that happened just after the summer, because we are both former classroom teachers and we know it's almost impossible to keep up with all this stuff. So we thought we'd try and be your catch-up team today.
Right.
And you might not find everything new today. If you find some things like, oh, I did hear about that, just give yourself a pat on the back. 5 minutes, we'll move on to something else, and maybe you'll find something new. So.
Yeah, and there's, like, Wylie just showed me this morning something. I said, I didn't put this on here, and he said, oh, I did. So there's even things that we don't know or that he just showed me. So if you know something else, and you're like, oh, here's something else that's new, please shout that out because it's, good for all of us. So.
All for the greater good.
Of course.
Yes.
Are you ready?
So what should we start with?
Of course, we're going to start with Seesaw, right? Any Seesaw users? Oh, look at you all. I love it. So if you came into Seesaw starting like middle of August, you're probably like, oh my gosh, everything looks a little bit different. So what Seesaw did with, which I think is amazing, is they added more tools into what they're calling now their creative canvas. Have you guys been in there and seen that? It's what is the draw tool when you choose that. So I'm gonna first of all navigate someone else's computer. No, thank you. Driving someone else's computer is always super fun. Okay. So if you go into I'm just gonna do post-student work. All the icons look different, updated, ready to go. Everything that you're going to see that I think is, all of those tools in one spot are going to be in the drawing tool. So I'm going to go in there. So first things first, there's a glow pen that you need to be prepared for. Kids are going to love it. I'm not sure how teachers are going to feel about it. So right along the bottom, you can see the glow pen because it's it's got like little pretend sparkles on it. So once I choose the glow pen, I can choose my whichever colors I would like here, and then I get to just draw all the glowy things. One of the other great things I think that they added to the Creative Canvas is the ability to add all of the things that you would want right there. So in the past, you probably remember you had to flip, you had to like, okay, yes, I want this picture. Then you had to go and add comment to it. All of that stuff now is inside this Creative Canvas. So I can record my voice right in here. I can add multiple pictures, which I think lots of people wanted. So I can add, I think 9 pictures total, all onto this Creative Canvas. So that really allows students, I think, the opportunity to show a learning process or the steps that they took to get through something, which I think is fantastic.
Click a lot.
I did.
Use the camera.
Did I click on the camera? Oh, hey. Okay, so the other thing that you may not have noticed that I think is really important for teachers, especially if you are creating activities to send out to your students as templates. Does anybody use that, the template? And then the students can go in and they can kind of move stuff around too, depending on what you have. You can lock pictures now. So in those 3 little dots, I can lock this, and then it is not movable anymore, which is really nice. You can also, if you notice, layer pictures too. So kids, as they get maybe a little bit more familiar, want to have a bigger picture in the background and then little pictures around it. So they're able to have a little bit more creativity within that as well. You can also add right in here your voice caption or typed caption, where before you had to do that in a separate screen. So all of those things are there and for you. What else? Oh, one more thing, I think. And then I have to look at my list to remember. I didn't know, so first of all, I didn't know they took this away, and then I saw that they gave it back, so this was new to me. The ability to change the font and the formatting of those text boxes, did you know they took that away? Anybody? Okay, so that's not new. It's back. So you can still do different formatting here, black to white. Really great conversation for kids when my son, who's a 4th grader, brings stuff, he's working on slides sometimes, and I say, you can't read that text on your picture. So it's a really good time to talk to kids, I think, about making sure your picture and your text are accessible to other people who might be viewing it. So you can mess with that stuff a little bit. And then also, you can change text here and the type of border that you have as well. So all of those things inside there. Any other big things in there that I missed? Did you get one? Okay. Let me check back to my list. Oh, you got it. Okay, I got the globe pen collage tool. Yep. Oh, sheets. Yes. I didn't even touch on this little guy. 3 little dots over here. Jeez, this is the grand finale right here. Did you know that there are also now base 10 blocks inside Seesaw? So you can, there's hundreds, tens, ones. There's also musical notes, all kinds of math, shapes, things like that for kids. That's a big one. All right, so one other thing. There are also new backgrounds as well. So there is musical, what is it called? What's the, help me out.
Staves, musical tracks, staff, is it? Yeah, there you go.
Is it because you're Scottish? You get to say staves, it'll be like, oh, that's cute, you said that.
I don't think it's staves is a plural of staff. Maybe not.
Yeah, okay. There's a little geoboard, there's handwriting lines. There are grid paper, just regular lines, and then colors. I think there were colors before, but so lots of new stuff in that creative canvas that you might find useful. Also, on the slide deck, there is a link here to new icons and activity creation. Have you guys seen these new ones? So when you go into your activities, if you're looking in the activity library at things that other people have created, you may see that they've put in these little visual icons in the directions, and a lot of times people are like, how do you do that? So you can do that in your own directions. By just writing a little bit of code. So if you want to add any of those directions in, those visual directions, you just need to have a colon and then the mystery word for whatever picture you're looking for, and a colon goes right after that. And then those visual directions, they won't pop in right away until you go to save the activity, and then those visual icons will pop into your directions. They've added a bunch of them. I sometimes wonder why, but when you want specifically the glow pen, now they've added those that glow pen in, so you can request your kids use glow pen, or you can say no glow pen, or pause the glow pen. So those are kind of a nice way, especially for your younger students or ELL students or some, kids that have a hard time reading those directions. It really gives them some visual cues to help them understand your directions. And so that link is on the slide deck that we shared in case you want those at the ready. I always think they're great to have printed out because it's just a nice thing to pull out instead of having to go and search for. Wrong computer. How many screens do we have going on here? I can't handle it. Any Chromebook users with Seesaw? Yes, okay. So one other thing I should have pointed out is before, when you were just one of the things that you could not do before with your Chromebook is the draw and record function. Now you can do that online. So iPad users, your students can record themselves as they're drawing and create a little video, like a screencast. of what their writing is and they can talk. So it records their voice as they go. You can also do that now online. So I can draw, type, and talk. I'm going to use my glow pen, of course, recording my voice. 2 plus 3 is 5. I click on done. I'm not sure how loud this is going to be, so
Cover your ears.
cover your ears. Not too bad. So if you've ever tried to draw with a trackpad, you know it's not awesome, right? But we do have schools, I think, that are starting to move to Chromebooks with touchscreen, and so this will get better for them that the students can draw and write at the same time. So that is new as well to Seesaw. Last one. Oh, you don't have this.
Talk about it.
Okay, Seesaw now also has a Chrome extension. If you don't know what a Chrome extension is, you can see on Wylie's browser here, he's got all these little tools. And he's actually in Firefox, so I should just say a browser extension. Is that the correct? Mm-hmm. Yes, a browser extension. And there are these little extra tools. So if you're a Chrome user or a Firefox user, you can just say like Chrome Seesaw extension. Are you on here right now? What are you doing? Yes. What it does is it just creates the ability to make a really quick little screenshot of what your students have created, and it feeds it directly into Seesaw. So a screenshot is great, yes, but once students are logged into Seesaw, it pops it right into a new activity or a new canvas for them without having to go and find your screenshot, upload it into Seesaw. It does it automatically. It has, I believe, screenshot of the entire screen, or you can do a selected part, which is what Wylie just did.
Actually, I just played the video from the Seesaw Twitter
Oh, you
page.
did?
But,
It looked like you were doing it.
I know, yeah.
Sneaky. Sneaky. Okay?
All right. Are we done with Seesaw?
I am done with Seesaw. That's it.
I was a little afraid that we'd get to like 5 minutes to go, or we just have done Seesaw.
Oh, can it and stand. Just.
But here we are, good. All right. Only took 13 minutes. So let's do some Google updates. I'm sure some of you in the room are using Google tools or G Suite for Education. So let's see how many of these you've come across already. Probably start with the first 3 being beta ones. So these are ones that you have to physically sign up to say, I would like to try this, because they're not like fully available to anybody yet. So there is a rubrics beta inside of Google Classroom, where you will be able to create a rubric inside of Google Classroom and assign it to an assignment. You'll be able to see it when you're grading, students will be able to see it when it's assigned to them, and you basically just build it up inside of Google like you would a normal, I don't know, rubric of whatever description. Still in beta right now. The kind of one disadvantage, and I'm going to just cross this down and say it's still in beta. The one disadvantage is that you can't reuse any of your rubrics yet. You have to create a new one every time you create an assignment. Which makes you think,
Why would I do it then?
Suck in air
Why
from
did
your
we
teeth
share
a
it?
little bit, but yeah, if you join the beta and you want to give them some feedback about what kind of things would be useful for teachers, then please do that. There is the option to do that. When you join the beta, I always think that for these, when Google are creating these things for classroom and for teachers and things, the people that are creating it are software engineers with an interest in education, but they're not always like teachers, so sometimes they need a little steer in the right direction sometimes. I signed up for the Classroom Rubrics beta, hoping to show it to you guys today. They sent me an email back and said, yeah, you're in. And then I went back to build my first rubric and I can't do it. So I don't know why I can't do it yet, but it shows up under assignments. There's an actual little checkbox that will say, create a rubric. So there's a video there from Richard Byrne you can watch. It shows you how to do that one. Second one you might want to think about signing up for are the Classroom Originality Reports beta. And this is a plagiarism checker, which you can add into Google Classroom. So once you create an assignment, you'll get the option to check a box that will say Use Originality Reports. when students are typing their work, they get to do 3 originality checks before they submit their assignment. So if they're pulling in things from all over the web or Wikipedia or different places and they're putting that into their document, it will scan through it, check it against all the internet sources it knows about, and it will tell the student, hey, it flags this, and it flags this, and it flags that. And when it comes back to the teacher on the other side, they get to read those originality reports. Bit of an asterisk next to this one, all right? While it is in beta, you can use as many of those reports, you can use them in all assignments and everything else. Google has said so far that when it comes out in beta, you'll be able to use it on 3 assignments per course, which is less useful. If you want to use it on more than 3 assignments per course, you have to upgrade to something called the G Suite Enterprise Education version, which I didn't really know was a thing, but you need to pay for that. And everybody thinks, oh, Google's free and you pay for Microsoft. Well, you can pay for Google as well, apparently. I think it's mainly more aimed at like higher ed and getting those kind of institutions in there, and I guess they would use that originality reports as well, but I think definitely for middle high school, originality reports are great, but you might have to be a little more judicious with your usage after the beta. Okay, last but not least, starts turning to seesaw, yeah? Classroom Sync beta. Google are working on a way to sync grades in Classroom to SIS providers. So, for instance, they're talking to people at Infinite Campus and syncing grades between Google Classroom and Infinite Campus. Because the one big thing everybody has in Google Classroom is double entry. Nobody wants to put the grades into Google Classroom and also put it into PowerSchool and Infinite Campus and whatever else you might use. So there is a beta for that. They're only working with like 2 or 3 people initially. Infinite Campus is one of them. So if you think you might want to sign up for that, I think PowerSchool is, they said more will be added later. They're not working with PowerSchool yet. I know. It took Canvas a long time to talk to PowerSchool, but he eventually got there. But so I guess we'll see. That last one has to be an IT admin sign up for that one, because it's for like your whole domain. I think that one works, but for the other 2, you can sign up as a teacher if you want to. So a couple more then. Inside of Google Forms right now, if you haven't seen this before, if you use Google's Chromebooks and you assign a quiz to a student, you have the option now in the settings here to turn on something called, you have the option here to turn on settings called locked mode on Chromebooks. And when you turn that on, it locks students in that Google form. So when they click on the link to the form and they go out to the form, it locks them in that form so that they can't open new tabs and Google the answers to all your questions. Okay? They can't open any other apps, they can't do anything else, they are locked. Now it only works with Chromebooks that are managed by a school district. So if you just have a few here and there that are not like tied to your domain, then it's not going to work on those. But if you have Google's admin dashboard for Chromebooks and you push all things, push apps out to students and all that kind of stuff, then you should be able to take advantage of that option there. What else we got? Import questions from previous Google Forms. So that is now on here too. There's a little button right here on the toolbar here that says import questions. So if you've created a quiz and you think, oh, I asked a question about this last week, I wonder if they still remembered how that works. You can click this button here. It will ask you to select a previous form. And when you go into the previous form, you can select the question that you would like to import to this Google form. So there you go. There you go. Let's import that question there. It brings it straight into your Google form. You don't have to type it up again. A couple of other things here. So these are just things to be aware of. They have this new Chromebook App Hub. If you are interested in taking a look, and Google's very keen to promote and show different ways to use Chromebooks in education. So they put together a website where you can filter by the type of thing you would like to do, the age group you would like to do it with, the subject you're teaching, and maybe your learning goal. And inside of these, there's lesson ideas from teachers who have come in and I'm scared to know, eye-bombing is, I don't know what it is, let's see. So here's Lisa, Tech Integration Course in California. You know, an overview of what this would be, tips for success, English language learners, special accommodations, all the resources you need. So some digital lesson plans on teaching in a Chromebook classroom are available at the Chromebook App Hub. And I guess this one would be similar. You've talked about this, haven't you?
Sure.
You want to jump in?
Sure. So the Applied Digital School or skills through Google are lessons for teachers to do with their students depending on, I mean, you can search through this way like Wylie did, was just click on one, but you can also filter by what app you'd like your students to use. So we have a school district who is trying to change like their old office class into something a little bit different. And so they started by kind of mapping their curriculum just along with this Google Applied Digital Skills and using that as a way to kind of push out lessons for kids. They work creatively or collaboratively through those lessons. So it's a lot like a playlist of sorts for just digital skills.
And there's videos and step-by-steps to teach them through all these types of things.
Yep.
So, yeah, something else you can dig into. And last but not least, Google Expeditions now works on Chromebooks. So if you've ever wanted to try Google Expeditions on Chromebooks, you can do that. You need to have a Chromebook that's capable of running the Android apps. So it's going to have to be a touchscreen Chromebook from maybe the last 2 years or so. But Mindy's tried it and confirmed it works. It used to be you could only follow an expedition, but now you can lead an expedition as well.
I didn't know that.
So there you go.
Okay.
You learning today.
Thank you. All right, Flipgrid's up next. So Flipgrid went through a ton of upgrades, I would say, this summer after, that's me.
Laughing at your kid. Yeah, it's you. Okay.
You told me to put a new one on there. I didn't like the one that was on there before. So Flipgrid added lots of different things this summer at ISTE. So one of them is the ability to take video and move your little video clips into the order you want. So that's super nice. Instead of having to re-record, you can upload your own video, you can add pictures, all of those things as well. So let's demo that. Will you pull it up there? Oh, shoot. Let me show this one first.
Do we have to?
Yes. So one of the additional things that was added to Flipgrid this year is the ability to have a closed caption for the videos that you have created, which is a really great accessibility feature for our students and for our teachers who might need that. So this is an old video from like 2 years ago. I was really interested to see if my old videos would be able to still pull in closed captioning, and it can't. Sorry, volume is not very good in here.
Elementary tag and art teacher Belle Plain. I'd just like to say I really enjoy seeing all her social media posts where she is sharing the learning that is going on in her classroom. There's all kinds of great art projects, stop motion and makerspace, and great things like that going on.
Jeez. Okay. So that's really neat, right? It's great that you can go backwards too and add those. The other thing that you can do is download the transcript as well. So I have all of these different videos inside this grid. Gosh, you have this touchiest.
I'd like to give a shot.
So just as a teacher though, students can't do this. So if I go back into my grid and I choose actions here, down close second to the bottom there you can see it says download transcript. So I can download the transcript for that video. Oh, you're actually going to do it?
Nope.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So that's a really nice feature. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how that is possible in Flipgrid later. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna demo just some of the new features in Flipgrid when you're in the creation mode. This is one I found. What is Fortnite? What is Fortnite? We should just take a minute to see if you guys want to answer this. What is Fortnite? Do we know?
I read this morning that Fortnite fell into a black hole. Did you see that? It blew up their map, and then the 10 seasons map is gone, and now they're going to do season 11 with a new map, and they sucked it all into a black hole. And
apparently you're the only one that knows anything about that. Okay, so when I go in, I hit the little plus sign here. Okay, so when I am recording, I've got a couple great new features here. I can add a filter, which we love, right? But what's really great is that I can actually pixelate my video. We've heard a lot of teachers say, my middle school students don't want to be on camera. And we keep saying, but we need to hear student voice. And my kids don't want to be on camera. So this pixelate thing is kind of nice because we can still hear student voices, but we can pixelate them too so they feel more comfortable. I mean, you can always go old school and put the tape over the camera, of course. But this is a nice thing that we can add to. So once I'm going to keep going here. Let's see. I also have, I've got a couple great new features here. I can add a filter. Whoops. Something else that's really nice is that there is also the ability for a whiteboard. So one of the things I was showing before with the Chromebook is that you can, or with Seesaw, I'm sorry, do draw and record. Down here at the bottom, there is also a whiteboard option, and I believe chalkboard too. What's this one say? Blackboard, yeah. We're just gonna do whiteboard. So students can have the ability to have a whiteboard and record as they're talking, or create something on this whiteboard and add it in after. So a lot of times when we ask kids to draw and write at the same time, it becomes kind of taxing. So they can still use the whiteboard and then hit record and be able to talk about what they've created in there.
But is there a glow pen?
There is not a glow, I don't know, I don't think there's a glow pen.
I don't think so.
You can also upload a sticker, which is a photo, and you can add video too, although it doesn't look like a whiteboard. So one of the things, take a selfie. There it is. Okay, select a frame. How come these don't have upload a video? A whiteboard. Okay. You can also, like I said, take the videos, although Wylie's a whiteboard. So one of the things I was showing before was a whiteboard. How many times are we going to hear me say that? Okay, so, oh my gosh. So one of the things I was showing before. Your trackpad is so touchy.
How do you mute?
I don't touch me, right? The other thing I can do is trim it, right? So you can see these little frames here. I can, maybe just turn your volume on. I can trim the parts that I want to. So if I don't like the beginning or I want to take off the end, I can do that. And then have that video to add in. Yep, then I hit the add 128. I've got this little video I can add in, record, talk about it. I can upload images and just talk about those. Okay. Pause. Yep. And then I think you go forward, Wylie. Yep, and then I can add 120, but I can flip these then. So I've got this one of Wylie's whiteboard and this one of the video, and I can move and shift those around to make a video like I want. Okay? All right, so something else that's been added to, will you go back to the slide deck, please?
Ooh,
Okay. You could, what's happening?
Oh, your video's playing on top of the QR code.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I have the QR code here in my up. So this other thing that they've added is called Flipgrid AR. So give me a sec here. I'm gonna AirPlay to Wylie's computer. I'm gonna see if it works.
There we go.
Okay. All right, so I have this little QR code that I generate. Oh, No, but my.
Big caution, we think this AR feature is a great way for student voice to be added to work that might be hanging out hallway. So one of the I can upload images.
So could you see how the little video popped up over top of that QR code? It was kind of, it doesn't work very well when you're presenting and screen playing at the same time. So what's really neat about this is that, thank you. I can add this little QR code here.
One of the things I was showing before was
so what's really neat about it is that I can take this little QR code and put it in work in the hallway. I can put it with, we always have at my kids' school like an art night. So I can put a little QR code with the art my students have created. And the only bummer about this, I think, is you have to use the Flipgrid app. It shows up with a scan QR code, and then anyone can scan it, and then a video pops up right over top of where I'm pointing that QR code. And a little video of me pops up explaining my work, or my art, or something I've learned this year. And all of those little videos are just created right in Flipgrid. So it's kind of this cute, fast, easy way to do a little bit of AR and adding student voice to work that might be, you know, in the hallway or posted somewhere. A couple other additional tools inside Flipgrid. I didn't want you to do it, to be honest. A couple of things that you might not have noticed before in your Flipgrid account are grid pals. Yes, I want you to drive. Our grid pals, so up along the top, it's hashtag grid pals, and what that does is gives you some information for you to connect with other schools and become grid pals with them. So it becomes more collaborative conversations with people that aren't just in your school but could be around the world.
So like pen pals, but with Flipgrid.
Yes, that is the point. That's where it came from, is grid pals. Yep.
Makes sense.
And then also real quick along the top is the Disco Library. Disco is short for Discovery Library, and that's where my Fortnite conversation came from.
Ah, there it is.
Heyo. So I can choose another grid that someone else has created and share it directly to my students, as is. Super easy, push of a button, off you go. So a good place, especially if you're just getting started with Flipgrid, to go in there and see what other people are using and how they're using it.
Or if you're an instructional coach and you're looking for some ideas to demo it to staff or something
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
You might find
Yep.
There's something there too.
Okay, I think that's all my things on my list.
All right. Try and pick the pace up a little bit here so we don't run out of time. I'll do this pretty quickly, but you'll find a lot of tools that you are using now. We're going to start getting this thing called the Immersive Reader, which I think is a really interesting tool. Created by Microsoft. It was originally meant as an accessibility option. Back in 2015, Microsoft held a hackathon for their OneNote team, where the Microsoft employees all built little things for OneNote, and one of the things that somebody built was called Learning Tools, and it was what is now morphed into Immersive Reader, and it's getting built into Wonderopolis, and Flipgrid, and ThingLink, and Wakelet, and Microsoft, and all kinds of other stuff. So let me do a very quick demo. It's easier to show than explain what it is. This is Wonderopolis, and so who was Stan Lee? So there's a little button here that's called Listen, and this will appear on different tools like I said here. So I can bring this up here and I can literally listen to, I'm just afraid to turn the volume on in case we hear Mindy talking now. Let's see. So,
All right.
Have you ever wondered, who was Stan Lee? What character did Stan Lee create? What is Marvel Comics?
so it's going to read it aloud to me here. I've got some options here where I can change the speed and I can change the voice from male to female. If I go up here into the top right-hand corner, I've got some text preferences, so I can change the text size, make it bigger or smaller, depending on what I want to have here. Increase the spacing to make it easier to read, or I've also changed the font here. I can change background themes if I want it to be different types of contrast on here. And there's more colors down there too. Okay, so all ways to help customize that text. If I go over to the next tab here, we've got grammar options where I can split words into syllables. So if I've got students that are not sure maybe how to pronounce certain words or how to attack certain words, you can see how this splits it up into syllables and makes it easier for them to have a good guess of what those words are. If I want, I can like highlight all the nouns and talk about that in the classroom here. I can highlight all the verbs. I can highlight multiple things here, okay? Highlight verbs and adjectives. I can, if I show labels, it's going to put adverb above each word as well and let you see what that looks like. Then over here in the reading preferences, line focus. You can have it read just one line at a time if you want. You can read 3 lines at a time, or you can, come out of this and just have all your text at once. They do have a picture dictionary where if you click on certain words, let's see if it will do it. Oh, there you go. So I've got a suit, and it shows me a picture of a suit. I can have the word red.
Suit.
So a picture dictionary, you can have that on or off. And look, you can even translate it into a different language, okay? So let's say we choose Spanish, like Spanish. So you can do it by word, so you can click on a word like suit, and it's probably, oh, there we go.
Traje.
And I don't know if that's correct, but I'm sure somebody will that's correct. Spanish word for suit, picture of suit, it will read the word, or you can just translate the whole entire document into Spanish. And for those English language learners and those kind of options on there, this is, like I said, this is now built into Wonderopolis, Flipgrid, ThingLink, Wakelet, Microsoft EDU, all those tools on there. It's coming to Nearpod, it's coming to PowerSchool, which I think could be pretty powerful for some of our parents who are ELL and things like that. It's coming to Bunsey. It's coming to all kinds of things, all right? So keep an eye out for it, look out for it. It's going to be useful for all kinds of learners in your classroom, not just special education. Reading supports for all students, I think. So powerful one, and pass it on to Mindy.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
When I go to Wonderopolis, I don't see it, so do you have to do something?
You go to, so click on one of the articles in Wonderopolis. You should see it. Let me see if I go back here. So let's do a different one. What was it? Cold War. So it's usually there right underneath the title. It says listen. No, you don't see it? Okay, you shouldn't need to install anything or do anything. It should be built in. Maybe, I don't know if it's
Are
not
you
on.
in an article?
I'm not sure if maybe it's not on all our articles. Let's go back and try another
I
one.
thought it was.
I'm on Google Chrome, does that matter?
No, it shouldn't matter.
Not posting.
No. Dry cleaning process? No, that's not it. Can't read that one.
Voted for it.
I did vote for it. Yay.
Sounds great.
So let's go back, Explore Wonders.
Oh, now I found it.
You found it there?
Okay.
Okay, so it's maybe not on every single one. I figure your feet. Oh, there you go. Did that trick. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi that's not loading in particularly quickly, but there you go.
All right, so I'll go real quick here. Wakelet is a tool that Amber, actually, raise her hand, yeah, just talked to me about Wakelet probably like 4 months ago, and I had always heard about Wakelet and was like, I'm not a bookmarker, so this is not a tool that I really care about until I actually got in there and started using it. So Wakelet allows you to, as somebody kind of said, well, it's kind of like Pinterest of sort. Like you take these different links and things and you add it to a board, and you have the ability to share that board with collaborators or out with students. So the reason I thought it was really great was that it was, I've been working with blended learning and thought this is a great way for us to share resources with our kids and move them around and organize them, and there's all kinds of different ways to use it. So for the sake of time, inside Wakelet, when you go to add something, there is a Flipgrid camera installed right inside. So when I hit the plus sign to add something to a collection, go into, just hit the plus sign now. Yes, okay. So I have the ability to record a video straight in. So what a great way for me to give directions to my students about what I need them to do, so when they come in, they can get started right away. I can add anything from my drive, images. It also has Immersive Reader built into it, so if I add any text in here, it will read it for my students as well. So if I want to write directions or something like that, type them out. So that's really great. It also has a new feature. If you're an old Wakelet user, you can add mood board preview, which means it kind of spreads things out instead of a list. Just, yep, any of them.
Any of them?
Just, that one, yep. You can also add a GIF to a header, which is kind of nice, just to kind of draw your students' eye to it. Plus, we just love GIFs. Well, I mean, anytime you can add a GIF to anything, it's fantastic. So one of the things I did, because I'm really curious about how this will work, is that I opened up the link completely for iTech on a board, and that's in the slide deck that we shared with you, for people to add their tech nuggets that they gained during iTech, because I'm really curious to see how it works with a lot of users. So if you would consider adding some of your new nuggets to the Wakelet. It's right under here where it says join the wave, and I've made everyone a collaborator. I want to see how it works with lots of users. Okay? Oh, and this is the thing that Wylie pointed out to me today, is that there is a Screencastify integration as well. So if you record in, say we use Screencastify, it's a screen recorder, Chrome extension. If you have the Chrome extension as well, once you're done recording a Screencastify video, it will ask you if you want to add it into the Wakelet. So a nice quick little integration, which I did not know. But Amber did, yep, because she knows everything about Wakelet.
That was a new one. New to me.
New to you? Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you. Could you share the slide deck link?
Do you want to,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. Pull it back up quick. And Wylie also added at the bottom of there the Educator's Guide to Wakelet. So there's a little handbook as well. What's that? Down at the bottom, dlgwaa.org/iTech. And then you'll just have to look for the little thumbnail.
It's quite an alphabet soup, one out there. Digital learning at Grantwood AEA is the idea there.
You bet.
Yeah, so the Screencastify integration is in your settings, your Wakelet settings. You go to dig into the settings, you go to apps, and then you hit connect. And then after you create that Screencastify, it will say, hey, do you want to add it to a Wakelet board? And you say, oh, sure, that's a good idea.
Sure it is.
Send it straight over there and put it on there. So that's what that is. All right, so let's.
I have to go backwards.
Yeah, probably. A few iPad updates I thought would be worth mentioning, and I don't know if we'll demo too many of these or not, but I'll just let you know there's a new iPad software available for anybody with an iPad Air 2 or later. So that means if your iPads are like 5 or 6 years old, they still get updates from Apple, which I think is pretty awesome. They're here today at iTech, and you can go talk to them, but this is the 2-cent tour basically you're going to get. So one of the big things I think is that Safari now on the iPad will give you the full version of websites. So when you visit a website in iPad OS, it tells the website, hey, I'm using Safari for Mac. And it goes, oh, okay, well, I'll give you the proper website then. Before, it used to give you the mobile version of Google Docs, or the mobile version of YouTube, or the mobile version of whatever site it was. You can go to Google Docs, open a Google Doc, and do everything in a Google Doc that you would on a Mac or a PC now. It's a full-feature web browser. They've also got the ability to download files on an iPad now. So you used to be able to, I don't know, when you were doing things like green screen and things, you would go looking for videos to have as your background. You'd hit download, and all it would do is play the video. Now it has a download manager built in, so you can download files straight to the iPad, puts them in the downloads folder in the Files app. There's this new little floating keyboard you can have. You can pinch with 2 fingers and get like a little mini keyboard the size of an iPhone, and you can do the old swipe to type thing on the keyboard now. You may see in the video here, I'm going to try and zoom in and show you here, but you can also add a mouse support to an iPad now. So you can connect a mouse, and you'll see, maybe when it gets out of iMovie here, it'll be a bit easier to see in the light, but there's like a little floating dot that's going around the screen here. That's me controlling the iPad with the mouse and moving a cursor around the screen. That's in accessibility settings now. but it's an option that you can definitely take advantage of. So there it is on the screen there, moving around. It's meant for, I don't know, accessibility in terms of getting kids access with maybe like a joystick or something, or other types of devices, but you can use it with any type of mouse too. I think it's really useful for if you're doing like a screencast for kids and you're like, so you can touch here, touch there, you can't see where you're touching, but if you have like a little mouse pointer floating around the screen, you can absolutely do that. You can plug in your USB flash drives now to iPads, and it shows up in the Files app, and you can drag and drop files in and out on an iPad now. Okay, you might need an adapter in order to plug it into your iPad, but you can now connect these things, external hard drives, cameras, all of that sort of, just plug them straight into the iPad, and they show up in the Files app now. How are we doing for time? Well, let's see if we can try this or not. Let's try it. So they've got this really fun thing on here too. It's another amazing accessibility thing from Apple. And I have no mouse cursor apparently on my machine. But it's called voice control. You can control your iPad, also your Mac now, completely with your voice. And you can say, show numbers, and it puts numbers over all the things on the screen that you can touch on, and you can say tap 5, and all tap 5. You can put a grid on the screen, and A1 and whatever, and touch on the grid. You can control your entire device without touching the screen anymore. Open apps, close apps, swipe left, swipe right, bring the dock up. All those things can be done completely hands-free on your iPad now. And iMovie, last but not least, if you missed it, you can now do green screen inside of iMovie. So that means you can do it in iPad and the Mac now. You can do green screen. You just layer up the two tracks, one on top of the other. When you bring the video in, there's like a 3 dots you can click, and one says blue screen, green screen, so you drop that down on top. There's a link there that will take you through and do that. They also added 80 new music tracks, which is amazing, because every time I hear one of these videos from kids or something, it's always like the same 6 tunes, because that's all iMovie had in it for a while. But they've got 80 new music tracks, and the best thing about these music tracks is they automatically adjust to the length of your project. If your project is 1 minute 23 seconds long, the music automatically ends after 1 minute 23 seconds. It doesn't just abruptly stop or fade out. It puts in a nice little coda at the end to make sure it completes exactly at 1 minute 23 seconds. So some fantastic options on there.
So we have what?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Which one shall we choose? Real quick, Unsplash has a Google add-on for slides, which is actually not that new, but it was new to some. And Unsplash for education, so there's collections now in Unsplash, and if you don't know what Unsplash is, it's just a free place to get images. So you can pull those into Google Slides, you can use them for presentations, and Canva, whatever you'd like to do. I know some people use Book Creator. We don't have a lot of teachers that use Book Creator, but there is an auto draw feature in Book Creator now. So what auto draw does, you can also just go to auto draw on the web, and you can start drawing like half of the picture, and it will start to tell you like, oh, I think this is a Christmas tree, or is it a house? And so it will give you options of what image you're trying to create, and will automatically finish your drawing for you, or clean up the lines so it looks more sleek. So if you haven't looked at AutoDraw, it's just kind of a fun thing to play with. Synth, podcasting.
Yeah, Synth is another podcasting tool. If you've used Anchor and you're thinking of like something for maybe under 13s, and take a look at Synth. They are coming out with a brand new version where you'll be able to, they're calling it Pinterest for podcasts, and I don't know what I like about that or not, but you'll be able to put little collections, little snippets of podcasts together. Mindy and I were playing with the quizzes, redemption questions yesterday, and I said if kids get questions wrong on a quiz,
Two questions, I think it pops up after.
Two questions, and gives them the option to have a redo on some of those questions and redeem themselves and win back some of their points and things for the quiz.
RightReader is an online book creator of sorts, and they added new page templates, which is good. Oh, and if you refresh, I do have a line. Remove.bg, does anybody use remove.bg? Okay, so remove.bg, what it does is takes the background out of a picture. So if you have a picture of you and your family, and you want to make it look like you went on this wildly amazing vacation, you can put that image of your family into remove.bg, and it will pull out the background of your picture so that you can put it in front of a prettier background. Like we went to Spain instead of to Wisconsin Dells. So that's, but what's different about remove.bg now is that it used to be just for people, now it can be for other things. Yeah. Did you say pets?
Yeah. Or
Animals.
inanimate objects.
Yes.
Yes.
free?
So it is. It has a pricing thing inside of it now, but we haven't run into it, so we're not really sure where the wall is, but yes, you can use it for free.
And then Book Creator, is that free as well?
Book Reader is free for
Yes.
like one book on a shelf, but we do have some schools that pay for it, so, yeah.
Well, this was our last slide, maybe just some ideas if you are interested in looking for ways to keep up with things. Definitely you can subscribe to product newsletters. I know people that have special filters for these type of things and they just look at them whenever, so they automatically goes to a folder. A lot of them have blogs that you can sign up for. If nothing else, sign up for Richard Burns' blog, because he does all of this update stuff for you and catalogs it. And
Every day.
Every day, basically.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. What are you doing, Richard?
Connect with people on social media. There's all these companies and things and products that you like all have social media accounts. There's a whole bunch of podcasts out there. Mindy and I happen to do one of them. So, get to know your AEA consultants. Mindy and I are obviously representing Brentwood today. There are people like us at every AEA. If you can't find your AEA person, get in touch with one of us. We're happy to help out. We're all in the same boat here. But those are some of our updates, and hope you learned something new.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.